Hey guys, this is Kyle with Rhino. I wanted to show you guys how to mount your swivel mount for your first use and then how to balance it. So first things first, you probably already know how to do this, but you want to mount the actual quick release base for your GoPro onto your helmet. And positioning is actually pretty critical for this. We have our Rhino beat up helmet here that we use for all of our shots. If you can see, it's not actually on the top of the helmet. It's actually towards the rear of it because most of the time when you're riding a street bike, you're looking forward. So really you want to put it whenever you're doing your action sport so that the mount will be straight up and down. So quick tip on that, it's really good to heat up the surface and heat up the sticky pad, press it on and hold it on for about a minute. When we do that, these things never pop off. So it's quite nice. Second step, I typically just put the quick release buckle in the back of it. Now, first thing you want to do is actually take the swivel mechanism. This guy fits right into the quick release buckle. It's really simple. It's designed to work perfectly with GoPro system. So you put that in there, and then you want to line up the holes, put your bolt through, and tighten it up real well. So now, like we're talking about, you'll want to set it up so once you're looking, when you're doing your sport, this thing's going to be straight up and down. One of the things you want to make sure to do is really crank down on this nut. There's a couple companies out there that make a wrench for this nut, or you could just use the standard Phillips, but you want to crank it down so this thing doesn't rock back and forth if you have a hard landing. Next thing you want to do is take one of your Rhino EXTs that doesn't have the counterweight on it and mount up your GoPro. Now we've made it really easy to do that because we have the integrated GoPro connector. All you have to do, this is a GoPro Hero 3 Plus. It's a great little action cam. What you want to do is just push it in like so, make sure the holes are lined up, and screw it on nice and tight. Now this one you'll actually be able to pivot depending on how far you have the poles extended when you're doing this. Now what we're going to do is kind of center this up and screw in our two poles. I'll go ahead and lock this guy down. Now for the sake of this video, I'm actually going to move this a little bit so it's easier to put the poles on to show you guys. Okay, so here I have a prototype of the counterweight that you're going to receive. It's not going to look this bad. It's actually going to look really pretty. We're just testing out some different weights. But you put your other Rhino EXT on that has the counterweight. Now, the beauty of this system is that the poles actually rotate. So if I loosen this up, I can rotate my GoPro around and position it. And depending on how far away you want your camera, it's going to give you varying perspectives or field of view. So if you actually have your GoPro out all the way, you're going to want to extend the weight out quite a ways. We suggest that once you get this thing all set up, that you either put on the LCD backpack or use your phone with the Wi-Fi controls to test the view. We tend to like to get it where it just crops off the top of the helmet. Or you can shoot in super view, or 1440 by, I think it's it's 1440 tall, so basically you have a ton of headroom so you can crop it off and be able to position your shot. So a couple quick tips there. Next up, I want to show you guys how to balance the system. All right, so when you look at balancing the 360 swivel, it's actually incredibly easy. Using the 4-ounce included counterweight, you can balance multiple generations of GoPro cameras thanks to the telescoping tubes of the Rhino EXT. So all you have to do to balance this thing, right now this tube is a lot shorter than the GoPro, so obviously the thing's not going to be balanced and it's not going to give you good footage when you're out in the wild. So what I would do is just extend this out until this and the GoPro are fairly balanced. And to do that, we typically hold it like this and see what happens. So this, you can see that it's going down on the side of the counterweight, means that side's too heavy. So we need to pull this in a tiny bit, put it back to center. It's still a little bit too heavy. Let's pull it in a little bit more. Let it go to center. Okay, now the GoPro's a little bit too heavy. So now we can just fine tune it, pull it out, you know, 1/8 of an inch or so. Let's see. You can do this for as long as you'd like. That's probably going to give us pretty awesome results. So Normally we try to get the weight equal. If you want to get some cooler shots where if you want your camera to always remain in front of you, you can have the camera a little bit heavier. It's really up to you, so play around with it. But this is the basic way to mount and balance your 360 swivel. If you guys have any questions at all, please email support@rhinocg.com. Thanks for watching.